Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Salutations to Bhagavat Pada Shankaracharya, who is the repository of the Shrutis, the Smritis and the Puranas, who is compassionate and who is the benefactor of the world. Self-knowledge, Atmabodha. We are on verse 52. Though associated with upadhis, that is, who? The sage. It's written contemplative one. So, upadhistopi tad dharmair alipto vyomavat munehi. The sage. What is the muni? Now, in the highest, you can say, types of sages, is called the contemplative one. It's translated as contemplative one for the simple reason why it is actually translated as one who is silent. Muni is one who is silent. Mauna, silent. But the silence is not because he doesn't want to talk or she doesn't want to talk. It is because that person is engaged internally with the idea of reality or the truth or the perception of it. So that person has become quiet. What did he talk? So the contemplative one, though associated with upadhis, he, the contemplative one, remains undefiled under all conditions. I say. Under all conditions. Yeah. That dharma. You know what happens is upadhis. We had spoken about upadhis as limiting adjunct. Something is there and another thing comes and associates with it and it becomes limited. Properly speaking, it's called limiting adjuncts. Something that comes and limits. Now we are all fine, all right here. But there's a person who has got a lot of name and fame. That name and fame is a upadhi, a limiting adjunct. Though that person may be wanting that. Now suppose that person does not get name or fame wherever, then that person gets annoyed. So here he says upadhis such as body, the mind and the sense organs. Everything, not only the body and the senses and the mind, but the characteristics of the body. Thin, fat, long, short, tall, dark, all these. These are limiting adjuncts. Everything that limits. Everything is kind of, you've put it on yourself and that limits you. Any limitations. So, generally we labor under these limitations all the time. So these are called upadhis. Sri Ramakrishna gives a nice example. So he says, if somebody gets a pen, immediately they'll start writing. They are signing their name, etc., etc. and you hear somebody singing, you start whistling along. And you give somebody a kind of a walking stick, starts twirling it around, walking, like the gentleman. So, Sri Ramakrishna gives a nice thing, and he says, if a person who's weak and thin, he wears these boots, which the Englishmen used to wear, he'll immediately start taking the steps two steps at a time, like the Englishman. No, he's too weak for all that, but he will do that. So these are upadhis. These are the characteristics that limit you. Everything that comes, it limit you and you get caught. So this is though associated with upadhis, he, the contemplative one, the Muni, as you have seen, upadhi sthopi, even though associated with the, he is without being affected by this. Alipto, as they say, tad dharma. Now, look at us. We think, yes, what? We have a body, and we think, yes, we are the body. You should have been thinking yourself as the reality, the Atman. So what has limited you? Your body. And along with the body, what? You have to have the senses also. The senses. All bodies are with senses to experience the external world. And then you have to have a mind also. That's why Nikhilananda says, such as body, the mind, and the senses. However, a Jivan Mukta, because this is a topic, the chapter on Jivan Mukti, the liberated free, the one who is liberated. He's saying, on account of his living in the body, remains associated with the upadhi, but he considers himself as a witness of the activities. So that's the difference between this person who has become free and us. We think we are the doers. The body is sick, the mind is sick, that this is sick and that is sick and this is bad and that is bad. We are identified. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of this detachment from the body, etc., senses and mind, with the example of a coconut, which is a dry coconut. When the coconut is dry, what happens? The kernel inside gets detached from the shell. And then you can rattle it and you can hear the sound. You can shake it, it's a rattling sound. That means it has become separated. The flesh has become separated from the shell. Similarly, the person who is free, you will see there's a shell outside, obviously, but the flesh has become detached. That person's identity has become detached from them. He is not touched by the characteristics of the limiting adjuncts, the limitations. They become free. So that is the only thing. Yes, that is the only thing. There's no difference between those who are bound and those who are free. Those who are bound will think, I am the body. And the person who is living free will say, I am the Atman. So you don't, it's like you wear clothes and then you change the clothes and then you are not the clothes. You don't say, oh, this is an orange color. I am an orange color. You say, I'm wearing orange clothes. Oh, as they say in the Girwa, ochre. So how much of identification is there? This identification, instead of getting attached to that, now it's turned and it's gone to that real self. But isn't there still that limitations? Those limitations do not touch it. That's what the idea is. Though associated with upadhis, limiting adjunct, the contemplative one is undefiled by their traits. And Shankaracharya always say, like the sky. The sky is unaltered. He'll explain this, like the sky. So first, the noticed traits such as birth, growth, infirmity, and death. So if you have a body, I'm the body, then you will have birth and death, infirmity, and this and that, all these things. And you feel, oh, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm hungry. Oh, okay, keep on. There you go. But it is not easy. You see, Sri Ramakrishna says, you have a river, a water, and you throw a stick on it, a long staff rather. And apparently, it divides the water into two. The water cannot be divided. But yet, the water appears to be divided this side and that side. Sri Ramakrishna also says, two brothers quarreling over the property. So the one brother is saying, this is my side and this is your side. They divided the string. I say. So these are all the traits. Something comes which is kind of not very significant, but apparently divides. So these upadhis are apparent. Like the stick thrown on the water appears divided this side and this side. There was no division. So here he has given like the sky. In the original it is Vyomavat, like space. Space is everywhere. It's inside here, it's outside. But it appears to be divided. Oh, this hall, this chapel, and that shop, and this and that, and outside the street. That's a Broadway East. Oh, that's Broadway East. Not Broadway West. East. Okay. So everything is like apparently dividing space. It should not have been there. Why? Space is space. That same space is outside and the same space is inside. But these walls and the ceiling and this floor apparently divides that space. So these are the limiting adjuncts, upadhis. Okay? Like that stick that is thrown on the water. Very funny. And that's why Vedanta says, okay, you must understand what is apparent and what is real. And what we have done is, we have taken the apparent for the real and the real for the apparent. Maybe there is a God, maybe there's Atman, maybe, who knows. And this world, the limiting adjuncts as a reality. This is real. I cannot believe that this is not real. Yeah, it's very difficult. So there's a nice story about it. Teaching rather. So there was a person who could squeal like a pig. Or hoink, that's what they say. And so then what happened was, he got an idea. He goes to the village fair, sets up a small tent. He charges $1 for everyone who can come. And he puts a board. Here a person squealing like a pig. And people lined up. Oh, what wonderful. really, it's correct. The way he hoinks and grunts, it's like a pig, completely like another man. He said, oh, he also puts a small tent. He gets a real pig and said, you're a pig grunting and hoinking and squealing. Free. And people go, oh, it's a pig. What is that? It's a pig. What that person, whenever there was a spectator coming inside, he used to pinch that pig and the pig used to grunt. So he's saying, this is the original. This is not original. This is not good. Not good enough. They are paying money for all that imitation. That pseudo pig. The man who is grunting and hoinking like a pig. People pay money and go there. If you show them the real, there are no takers. So, people are running after this upadhis. So everything that limits you, the reality is. So this person here, he remains undefiled, like the sky. And he remains unaltered under all conditions, like a dumb person. Like a dumb person, dumb and deaf. Of course, now dumb and deaf people, the moment you speak about them, they immediately they will look. They'll this is they're talking of me. And they become little. But there's a song, Bobar Moton Thagbi Boshe. It's a Kali Kirtan, Kali song. Sit down like one deaf mute. When these passions and this anger and the greed, etc., come quietly. Sit down. Don't react. The idea is, don't react. Like a dumb person means like, oh, that person is dumb. No, that person is not reacting to it. So, there is something coming out to a deaf person, deaf mute. But that person is not reacting. Let's see. All right. So there's no reaction. The idea is things are coming from outside. Everything that will make you angry, that will make you greedy, that will make you hungry, that will make you thirsty, that will make you, egotistical, everything is coming, but there's no reaction coming from the side. That's what Shankaracharya meant, that it remains unaltered under all conditions. What? Like a dumb person. Otherwise, people say, that the liberated free becomes like a dumb person. No, it's not dumb. But that person, as we have seen, he or she is absorbed in the thought of that reality. That reality is so strong, and the reality is full of bliss. You cannot be, oh, what's this? Oh, it's bliss. So that person is just satiated. And his or her entire attention is on that. The mind has taken the form of that. So the person becomes silent. The contemplative one, the one who is deeply absorbed, thinking or seeing that. Sri Ramakrishna says, like what happens? Like during Kirtan, during that song, my Nitai dances like a mad elephant. Nitai Amar Matta Hati. And as the Kirtan, the congregational singing keeps on getting more and more intense, he says, Nitai goes there. Nitai goes, Matta Hati. He or she cannot articulate the whole thing. Nitai Amar Matta Hati. And then the first Nitai goes, Amar, the second word goes, third word Matta, like maddened, like Hati. You've seen the elephant dancing? They sway and it's very beautiful. Not when the elephant is charging. I'm not talking about the elephant charging, the bull elephant charging, but so Nitai who dances like a kind of maddened or intoxicated elephant. And then only Hati remains. He's dancing Hati, Hati, ha, ha. And then he cannot do just ha, ha, and stop. So all the other things fall off. As you're more and more absorbed in that thought of the Atman, all things will automatically drop off. Sri Ramakrishna gives, as you go towards the west, the east falls off by itself. You may turn back, oh, yes, okay, it's gone off. So this is how, and in that state, that person is oblivious. That person cannot react to anything, to any of the sensations or any of the emotions that the sensations elicit. Okay. The person completely there. So, ha, ha, and then that he said it's kumbhaka. The breath is held there. Finished. And then he says, he moves about unattached like the wind. Like the wind. You can say, oh, what is going to stop the wind? The breeze. Today we've got a nice breeze blowing out here. This is fine. This is northeast, northwest. So here. So it's blowing. It's unobstructed. You try to obstruct it. So that person moves. What do you mean moves? Goes, does anything anywhere, but not anything anywhere. That person, the mind is not obstructed. The body also goes about. He dwells in the body as long as the momentum of his past karma is not exhausted. He moves about. Sometimes, as Sri Ramakrishna says, sometimes he's like sitting with the kings and all. And sometimes he's sitting down with the homeless, with the beggars and this and that. Sometimes he's homeless, sometimes he's with princes. It's the same. Hey, you were yesterday with the princes and today you're with this. So what? That person has gone beyond all conventions. He moves about freely. But he remains unaffected by joy or sorrow, as the wind remains unaffected by the good or bad odors that it carries. Like the Bhagavad Gita, Vayur Gandha Nivasayat, like the wind that blows away all odors out. So similarly, that of course is the illustration is for when the soul leaves the body. But the idea is the wind carries things unobstructedly. So similarly, this person is unaffected. The wind remains unaffected. He's like the wind. Something good, some confetti, some pieces of paper, some house or some tree. That the wind does not say, oh, I'm responsible for breaking that house and destroying that forest. I'm the wind. that person is free. So this is the living free. So, and like the sky, the note there, sometimes the sky appears to be grey on account of dust in the air, but the sky itself remains undefiled by dust. Dust settles, everything is clear. Like a dumb person, the person remains calm and silent while praised or blamed. There you can say. So that person does not get affected. That's what I said. There is no reaction to that person. Bobar moton thagbi boshe. I remember one time we were fired up with something, and one Swami, we are friends together. We are brahmacharis. Saying, and we are saying, what should we do? Then he sang this song. I still remember that story. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Janbi, Asbi, Bobar, Moton, Thagbi, Boshe. So all the things, emotions and all this comes, sit down quietly, don't react. And that means tremendous control. Now this control, as I said, what? Because that person has become free. See, we must have a working philosophy of life. You cannot have something, I'll run after this, I'll run after that. You must have a philosophy. Otherwise, you'll run after this thing and then after that thing. And you must have a philosophy which will take you from one stage to another. It will elevate life. You cannot come running about all like children running about. We have a park here, Ronak Park. I take a walk and then I see children. They are all running about. Like, in India we have, when these cows are let off in the pasture, no? They run about like mad. Freedom. They have become free. These children, they have been sitting down in the classroom. Now they are free. They're running out, shouting and screaming and all. But the problem is they are running about, they are free, but it is not something that will take them to the next stage of freedom or this or that. For that, you need to have a kind of a philosophy of life. And that philosophy of life should be something that will lead you to freedom. If that is not there, the ultimate goal will be that, freedom. You can have everything on the way, but you must be with direction, not be directionless. Those kids are running about. Like you see animals also, wild hogs and this, and running about, cows and all. Once you understand, yes, this should lead me to this, and this should lead me to this. Ultimately, is it? And for that, you have to have a set values, set principles. You must set it up for yourself. These are also limiting adjuncts, but you know that they can be pulled away at the moment's notice. So it has to be. It has to be like that. You're taking the support of things and going forward. But the going forward, you leave everything, all the limiting adjuncts behind. You do not cry when you see your doll which you used to play as a kid. You used to cry so much when you used to play with that doll. Now you don't. Why? Now the video games. Nowadays, children don't play dolls and all. They play video games. Well, it's like that. So you have, learned to transcend it slowly and slowly and slowly, you've gone forward. This is what happens. This person living free, we just cannot imagine the degree of freedom that this person enjoys. What degree? Oh, it's infinite. And that person looks like us from the outside. That person, but is not attached. Why does a person look like that? Because there's a past momentum on that person's body and mind. That will run its course. You don't need to bother about it. What are you going to do about it? Let it run its course. But like that dry coconut, the shell has separated, that person has separated. The Atman is separate from the body and mind. And that person's freedom, huge. And he sees, Swami Vivekananda gives the example of a telescope. You peer through the telescope, but on the lens there is some, you can say, there's some dust particles. So you can see the infinite sky or the galaxies, and you can also see those dust particles. That's what actually. So you're seeing suppose you're seeing the Andromeda galaxy. And there's some dust particles. So what's that? That person is not wanting to look at a dust. He's not taking the telescope to look at the dust particles. That person has taken the telescope to look at the Andromeda galaxy. He's watching it, and that's it. So it does not count much. Because he knows one day that breeze will blow it off. So if it is self-cleaning lens, it will clean it off. But technician will come tomorrow and clean it off. Doesn't matter. So that person's vision is unobstructed by the body, etc., etc., etc. That's what. While we have taken the apparent for the real. So remember, that person whinking like a pig and the real pig. The people want to see that imitation. They pay also for that imitation. They pay. And they go and see, oh, what a wonderful, that person really behaving like a pig. Squealing like a pig. So this person has made a distinction. He knows what is the real and he knows what's the imitation. And the imitations are all these limiting edge chunks. Okay. Because the idea is how a Jivan Mukta acts towards the world. That person has become free. It's just that. The person has become free. Every stage of his life has led him to higher and higher and higher. While for us, we are going round and round in a circle. We are let loose. I'm the Atman, but we are running around the circle. So we have to fix a direction. And for this reason why, many Vedantins, they have the devotion to the Guru or the devotion to the Ishta Devata, chosen ideal. That is what gives one a direction. Now, that is the easiest way. Okay. Or you will have to have such a robust sense of principles and you can say values that you're not going to move out from there. You are responsible for your bondage and you are responsible for your suffering or your misery or your happiness. Now correct it. That is the other way of tremendous self-reliance. But we can become self-reliant for a few maybe hours, few days also, few weeks. But human nature is weak. We want a help, a crutch. All right. So that's where devotion comes into play. Bhakti comes into play. So one must have clear-cut knowledge as well as devotion to that goal. Okay. So upadhis such as the body, the mind and the sense organs, a Jivan Mukta on account of his living in the body remains associated with the upadhis, but considers himself or herself as a witness of the activities. It's tremendous. We are actually the witness, but we have got mixed up. That has been the biggest problem. We see something and we love that person, love that thing, and we get caught. So that person becomes like a witness. In the previous verse, we had seen like a lamp that is placed in a jar, and the light pours out through those apertures, So it's like in the East, we have these various lanterns, Chinese lanterns. And in India and all, we have these earthen pots, and we put a lamp inside. And there are these star-shaped or moon-shaped or something, all these holes. And the light comes out. So this person inside is like that light. The jar itself, people say, oh, that light is coming from inside. But there's a lamp inside. You don't see that lamp. That person has become like that. The body and the star-shaped and moon-shaped and this shaped and this, all these circular holes which are there, are the senses, etc. They are the limiting adjuncts. They cannot limit in reality the Atman. So it flows out. This is how this person becomes free. We stop here for today. Next Friday, we take the next 53rd verse. Sunday, 10 a.m., we have the Sunday talk, the conundrum of the seer and the seen. This is the conundrum with the Q&A. And special announcement, Mother's Children Holiday Donation Drive continues through December 25th. They're accepting new and gently used children's and adult clothing, etc., to aid the local homeless people. So if you have something, you're feeling generous, if you want to do something, you have a commitment to society and to those who are deprived or underprivileged, you can. That's our duty, to do something. So that, because their helplessness in a way reflects us as a society and as a societal consciousness. So, and in a way it reflects not only us, it reflects our failures. Each one, we say, no, it's not my failure. Yes, it is your failure. Whether you like it or no. When you see something like this, people disillusioned, desperate, homeless and all, it is actually our personal failure when you see these things. So the Vedanta Society has taken up these projects to help and to alleviate such distress in society, because tomorrow also our vast team, Vedanta Action and Service team, is going to prepare food for the homeless. Sunday also, 7 p.m. is Ram Nam. So come, that Ram Nam purifies. Nothing is greater than this Ram Nam for purification. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.